There are three huge keys that every investor needs to take to have a maximum level of confidence when you are making an investment in the stock market. If you implement these three keys I'm going to share with you guys today, you will begin to have a lot of confidence when you go to make an investment. I cannot wait to share this with you guys today. Subscribers, thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're talking about investor confidence. The three biggest keys that you can implement in your investing style that will help you have a lot of confidence in stocks and when you invest in the stock market. So if your stock goes down or something bad happens or something, you can have confidence. I'm going to share with you guys these three keys. There's something I learned very early on that I had to implement, and if I didn't implement them, I would not have the confidence I have today. A lot of people ask me all the time, Jeremy, how do you have so much confidence when you go to make an investment? You seem so confident, so sure of it. It's because I do these three things. Key number one, it needs to be your decision. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by your decision? When you go to buy that stock, or you go to short sell a stock, or whatever, it needs to be your decision 100%. It can't be, oh, my dad or my mom, they said, oh, I should buy that stock. Or it can't be, oh, my friend said this. Or, hey, I saw on TV that, this guy was saying, oh, you need to buy this stock, so I bought it. Or it can't be, oh, Jeremy says he's buying those stocks, so I need to buy them. No. It needs to be your decision at the end of the day. You need to be that confident in that company or whatever you're doing as far as investing that it's your decision and it's your choice to invest your money in whatever you're investing it in. So you have to be sure of it. It has to be your decision at the end of the day. It has to be because you wanted to do it, because you thought it was a great idea. So that is the number one key, and that overrides everything. Because if it wasn't you that made the decision, as far as it wasn't you that had the 100% confidence in that company or whatnot, what happens when that stock goes down a bit? You might just be tempted to sell it right there because you're like, oh crap, they probably didn't know what they were talking about. Oh, my friend, what does he know anyways? Now I've lost 10% of my money. What does he know or she know? Or, So if you didn't have that confidence, what are you going to stick with it? You just heard it from somebody else. So that's why it needs to be your decision every single time, and you need to be 100% confident in it. Key number two, it is knowing the industry very well and understanding the stock you're investing in extremely well. So what do I mean by that? Whatever industry that stock is in, you need to understand that industry very well. So if it's an electronics stock, and that's the one you want to invest in, you need to understand the electronics industry very well. You need to know all the players in that industry. You need to know who's got the competitive advantage, who has an advantage over this guy and that guy, and who's got the exciting things coming out over the next year. All those things. You need to have a very, very high level of intelligence about that particular industry. There are some industries I don't invest in because I just don't know how to tell who's going to be the better one. For instance, the oil and gas industry. I almost never invest in oil and gas companies because I don't know how Chevron has a competitive advantage over Exxon or vice versa, or how BP has an advantage over Royal Dutch Shell. I don't know. There's no way. I just don't know the industry well enough that I can say, oh, this guy, they got the competition beat. They're going to do it in this and that. I don't know. Same thing with the banking sector. I don't know if Wells Fargo is going to do much better than Bank of America or Chase is going to do better than Goldman Sachs. It's just, for me, I just don't know that industry well enough. I don't know the industry well enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's so many other industries to invest in. My specialty, I can tell you, is electronics type companies, it's retail, and it's food related companies. Those are my three specialties. I might go into some other industries, but those are the three main ones that I generally stick with because I feel like I have a very keen understanding of those industries. And then it's about knowing the stock. The other part of step number two is knowing that stock in and out. So you need to understand what that company is doing for marketing. what that company's new products and services are coming. How much revenue do they get from current products or current services versus another product or another service? How much market share do they have next to the competitors? You need to understand that stock inside and out. Who's the CEO? How long have they been there? Did they found the company, or did they just, rise to the ranks and now they're CEO? What's the board of directors looking like? You need to understand all this stuff. You need to understand it all. You need to know it all. And once you know it all, that will give you a much deeper sense of understanding. So far we talked about the key number one, which is you making this decision. Step number two is you fully understanding the industry and fully understanding that stock and everything that pertains in it. You do those two, you're already going to have an extreme amount of confidence. Step number three, this is a big one. You have to have been keeping track of that company for, I would say, at least many weeks, if not many months, prior to making that investment. So you've had to be keeping track of what's been going on with the stock price, what's been going on with the news related to that stock. Have they released new products or services? You need to have been tracking it for a good amount of time. It can't just be a stock you came across a week ago or 3 days ago or something ridiculous like that. No. You need to have been tracking this for a while and understanding this company more and more, because it takes time. No one can just learn a stock inside and out in one day or a week or whatever. I've tried and it's impossible. So you need to have been keeping track of it. And while you are invested in it, you need to keep track of it constantly. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to pay attention to the stock price every single day, but you need to understand anytime news comes out, anytime quarterly reports come out, how the business is looking like, what are the competitors doing. You need to not just put the money in that stock and say, okay, that's it. I got the money in that stock. We'll see how it turns out in a few years. No, you need to constantly pay attention to all the different factors that are moving, all the different moving factors, what that company's doing, what the competitor is doing, all those kinds of things. What is the news story on it? Do they have some lawsuit that just came out? You need to pay attention to all that. And you need to pay attention to the stock price every now and then to see, hey, maybe the stock price shot up a ton and maybe it's time to sell at that point. Or maybe the stock price is down a ton and maybe it's time to invest more. Or maybe you just made a bad decision. So you need to keep track of it before you make that investment and while you invest it. That entire time you need to be paying attention to everything. So you do all three of those keys I just talked about, and believe me, you will begin to have an extreme amount of confidence when you go to make an investment. It won't just be like feeling like you're throwing money at something. It'll feel like you're making a very intelligent, wise decision that you know is going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, then that's like 1 in 1,000 times of a freak situation happening where it didn't work out. You know that company so well. You know the industry so well. You know everything about everything with that company that when you go in to make that investment, you were like, no question in your mind, this is going to be a success. That's the way I go into every investment. If it's not like this is a done for sure thing, then I don't even invest in it. But that doesn't necessarily mean every stock I've ever invested in was a sure thing. Most of them were, absolutely, but it doesn't mean every single one was. So, but you've got to have that feeling. You've got to have that confidence inside. So implement these three guys and your confidence will go through the roof when making investments. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, you may want to. I talk a ton about personal finance, talk a ton about business, and we also talk a lot about the stock market on this channel. Thank you for watching and have a great day.